Hey there guys, CrossFlux here, welcoming you back to Let's Play Metroid Zero Mission. In the last episode, we explored a decent amount of the region of Ridley, as well as pulling out a few secrets along the way, having to pull out some really fancy Shine Spark tricks to do so. In today's episode, we're going to be finding a few more secrets, as well as advancing the story just a little bit further. So first things first, heading off to the right from where we began at the save point, we can find an energy tank. But it seems that we're going to have to backtrack through a tiny little bit of the shaft that we kind of bypassed earlier using those secret rooms that we can see on the map. And it seems like the only region we can really explore at this point is that little left gray area, which looks like it's going to hold a boss. Well, if that's what you were thinking, you were thinking correctly. So, we may have to explore that room in a little bit. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have to fight something. I mean, come on, we can be hopeful for at least once, right? Maybe part of Samus's journey is a little easier to deal with. A woman can dream, right? Anyways, there's actually a secret that I missed at the end of the last episode, and I'm going to be claiming that prize in just a minute or so, because we're going to be passing back through the room where that secret was. Oh man, I'm also going to be taking a lot of damage in the process too. But anyways, here's the room that I was talking about. Not only did we get, I think it was a missile expansion here, but if you come up to this top left corner here and use some bombs, you can blow away some secret areas. And it seems that it's going to take a super missile to blow up that block. Doing so will definitely reward us for our efforts, because blowing up this last remaining block, we get a super missile expansion, bringing our total up to 6. Now that extra firepower is definitely going to come in handy here in the next few parts of the game. But with that tiny little detour out the way, I say we head off to the left, the only region that we can really explore at this point. Definitely ominous music, this region of Ridley. Didn't really talk about it before, but it really is kind of creepy. What else is kind of creepy is these weird door monsters. We saw one of those just before our boss fight with Kraid, so I don't know, things aren't looking good about what I said earlier about not having to fight a boss. But we'll just have to take it head on. Well, hey! If you have hope, maybe things look bright after all. No boss. Guess he was lazy and didn't show up. Anyways, since there was no boss, we can just freely obtain this unknown item, which serves the same function as all the previous unknown items that we've obtained so far in our journey. So even though that item is incompatible with our suit, we also get one item that is compatible, and that's another energy tank. Real quick, I'm going to heal up in this Chozo statue, mostly just to refill my missiles, because I was starting to run a little low. Anyways, let's head on out. There's not much else to do here in Ridley. Wait. Uh-oh. Sneak attack. Here we have Ridley, what the region is named after. This guy is one of the most iconic bosses in Metroid history. And that's because he makes quite a few returns. You'll have to fight him quite a few times throughout your journey here as a bounty hunter. And Ridley here is no slouch. He can deal lots of heavy damage with that tail, and he can also shoot fireballs. What you want to do, my recommendation, is basically just be as offensive as possible. And wait for him to grab you like this so that you get a bunch of free shots. Now yes, you'll take a lot of damage in the process. However, you can deal way more damage to him than he can deal to you if he does that weird grab. Recommend blowing all of your super missiles on him at the start of the fight so that you can deal as much damage at the start as possible before he starts being able to get faster. I'm actually running low on health, but luckily I was able to defeat him. Look at those tiny wings. Surprised he can even fly with those things. But anyways, just keep launching them full of missiles, and it shouldn't take you too long, but he'll go down. I always like the voice they use for Ridley too. Something about that screech is just really unnerving. Alright, so the way to escape this room here is to kind of trick one of these space bees to fly high enough that you can freeze it and use it as a platform. But now that we have that unknown item, there's actually a block that we can clear out the way, and that was in the rightmost shaft. So if you're paying close attention, you probably noticed it on that little short detour I took at the very start of the episode. Let's see, I'm actually going to blow up this little path here again in order to bypass all those enemies. Just because I'd rather not take any unnecessary damage since I'm already low on health from that boss fight. Anyways, let's see what we can see. I guess there's one thing I did want to talk about in this episode, and that is basically a return to the topic that I brought up in the very first episode. If you recall, in the first episode, I briefly talked about the Metroid manga, and I had said that I didn't really consider it canon because of a particular character who speaks. Well, after careful analysis, as I got a little curious and decided to reread the comic, after a little bit of rereading and just kind of thinking about it, I decided that it does kind of make sense for this particular character to speak, and that character that I'm speaking of is none other than Ridley himself. This boss fight is actually the reason why I thought about this topic and why I wanted to readdress it. So yeah, in the manga, Ridley actually speaks, like in English, or whatever language it is that the Galactic Federation and Samus speak. So I thought it was weird because we never see Ridley actually speak to Samus in any of the games. And I was thinking, well, just because we don't see him speak in any of the games doesn't mean he's not able to speak. After all, we don't ever see Samus speak in any of the games either. Other M doesn't count. Anyways, so because of that, we know that Samus is capable of speech. So, for that reasoning, why shouldn't Ridley? After all, he has to command the space pirates, so it would make sense that he would have to be able to speak to them. Anyways, I guess I've been rambling long enough about that. We actually are able to claim 5 more missiles in those rooms just before escaping warfare. And now we can access another region where we see a broken Chozo statue. So, normally at the end of a boss fight, we're given guidance as to what to do next in our journey. Well, seems like for once we're going to have to figure it out on our own. Only thing we can do is walk on foot back through weird areas of Ridley, actually bypassing that elevator that we took previously. Charging our speed booster to access another little morph ball booster cannon that will take us to another region of Norfair that we haven't yet been to before. And we see that there's some jet-powered rippers here. Look at that, man, that's crazy. So I'm going to freeze them to avoid taking damage. I actually bypassed that missile expansion there because there's actually nothing we can really do about it just this second. However, this power-up here can make the difference. Here we receive the second most iconic power-up in Metroid history, and that is the screw attack. So remember how earlier we could use a charge shot like this and then jump into enemies and it would deal damage? Well, now with the screw attack we can do that all the time without having to do a charge beam shot, and it pretty much will one-shot any enemy. At least most of the smaller enemies will get one-shot by it. It'll also allow us to break through certain blocks, specifically the ones here guarding that missile expansion. So the screw attack is going to make backtracking a lot easier, as some of those earlier rooms in the game have enemies that are really susceptible to the screw attack just because of their placement on the screen and whatnot. We can also use the screw attack to break through these platforms here and put our new super missiles to good use, and hopefully we'll find some more goodies along the way here. So this little room here is kind of fun to platform in my opinion. The small platforms always are nice to make use of our power grip. But heading through here, our screw attack makes things not too bad. I'm actually going to try and collect as much health as I can because I forgot to stop in that Chozo statue's arms in order to refill on missiles and health, which is probably something I definitely should have done considering I just had that boss fight with Ridley and am on pretty low health, all things considered. So let's see, what can we do here? Aha, destructible environment, gotta love it. Once again, this lava is fake. Or at least it's not fake. I actually have a theory about that. I can't remember if I've already talked about it or not, but if I haven't talked about it yet, then basically my theory is that the environments are still three-dimensional. Just because we're playing a 2D game doesn't mean the environments aren't three-dimensional. It's just that we can only see it from a two-dimensional perspective. So perhaps Samus is actually going down through a side path that we can't see, that bypasses the lava entirely. So here we reach a room that has really nasty secret in it. Basically, it's really hard to do, so hopefully I won't take forever in getting it. Basically what you're going to have to do is freeze this enemy here without using your screw attack, because otherwise you'll just blow him up. So using him as a platform in just the way that I did here, you should be able to access that super missile expansion. But we're actually not done using him. We're actually going to have to refreeze him on the other side so that we can reach another power-up. And sometimes they fly up too high like that, which serves us no point. Oh my goodness, guys, stay down low. I need you down low. Okay, so freeze him again. Is he close enough? I don't think he is. No. Okay. Well, that one's no good. Let's try it again. If it starts taking me forever, then I think I'll just speed up and play music, but hopefully it won't have to come to that. Alright. Step 1 complete. Alright, now I just gotta be quick on the draw here and refreeze him on the other side. Alright, is that gonna be close enough? Maybe not quite close enough. Darn it. Okay. Basically that wall on the left there that you saw is destructible. We're going to need to use this fly here to be close enough to reach it. Oh my goodness, I might actually die. I'm so low on health. Alright, come on. Come on, fly. Come on. Why aren't you coming? Seriously. Okay. Oh, man, this lava is eating away at me. Yeah, I actually made a mistake earlier, that reminds me. I believe earlier I mentioned that with the Varia suits, the lava does less damage. That's actually wrong. The lava does as much damage as it did before. It's just we can handle the heat environment now. Alright. Ready to go. And, oh man, not good enough. Come on, let's try it again. Okay, well, guys, I think I'm gonna have to speed up or at least cut out footage just because this is taking way too long. This should not be taking me this long, especially considering I did the other secrets in the last episode relatively easily. So I'm not sure what the deal is, but anyways guys, I'll see you whenever I'm finally able to accomplish this. Alright, finally. What do we get for our efforts here? 5 missiles. 5 missiles. Anyways, that was definitely one of the more challenging missions, side quest things there to get one of those items. But hope you guys don't have as much trouble with it as I did. Anyways, now that we've got a few more items under our belt, I say we head back through the way that we came and actually progress to where we need to. Let's see. I went through that door here to reset this block here a little bit quicker because we're going to be able to get through this room here a lot quicker thanks to our Shine Spark. Hiya! So yeah, we can pretty much skip the whole room on the way back, which is really nice. Those developers didn't need to do that, but I'm glad that they did. Anyways, let's see where we need to go at this point. Let's check our map. There's actually a little green door. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. It basically leads to that one little gray area there. So I think I'm going to speed up and play music as I backtrack to that point because that's where we need to progress. But first, I'm going to show off how the screw attack can just completely obliterate those enemies that previously gave us so much trouble. But anyways, let the music commence. Alright, well, we see what happens when you don't pay attention to your map. You get to pay for it by taking longer than you otherwise should. So So here you're actually going to want to make sure not to use your screw attack, because you'll end up destroying way more in the environment than you intend to, and that would cause you to go into the lava. Take a ride in the drink. Let's see. Okay, maybe I'm just going to take the hits, just because that'll be a lot quicker. Anyways, there's not too much else to say about this room other than the screw attack is kind of not your friend here. But what is our friend are those missiles up there that I smelled. I didn't state that I smelled it, but I did. I just didn't really talk about it this time. But guys, I think once I claim these super missiles here, I think I'm going to call the episode, just because we've been going fairly long time, and we took out a boss. So I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the next episode. So, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys then.